Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Hello, I am Vincent B. Jones II, and today I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing the Honorable Mayor Teresa Tomlinson.
Hello, how are you? Good to see you.
Madam Mayor, is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Yes, it is.
Question number 1. Will you share a brief bio of your life leading up to becoming the mayor?
Right, well, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I went to elementary school and high school in Atlanta and worked in Atlanta a bit after I graduated from college. I practiced law for a while. And then I moved to Columbus in 1994. And I married somebody who was from Columbus, had been raised in Columbus, and I fell in love with this city and decided to stay here. And after working here for many, many years, I saw the opportunity to run for elected office and did so and was elected mayor in 2010. And that was a great honor. And I've loved being mayor of Columbus. It's the best city in the United States so far as I'm concerned. And ran for another term this past May and won, and so I'll be sworn in again for another 4 years in January.
Question number 2. You have been the mayor since January 2010. What has been your proudest accomplishment for the city of Columbus?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, there's been a lot of great accomplishments that we've had. I mean, we have really seen some wonderful things happen over the last 4 years. But I would say very recently we passed something that helps rejuvenate our in-town community. Some of those areas that maybe are older and maybe don't have as many businesses, no movie theaters, no grocery stores are there anymore, and it's called redevelopment districts. And we tried to pass it several years ago, and it failed really badly. It didn't pass. And so it took a lot of hard work for us to come together and believe that we could be great and do good things together, and it passed by 60-40. So 60% of the people said they thought that was a very good idea, and that's a resounding victory. And so we're really proud of that, to have turned it around from being a big loss to being a big win.
Question number 3. What has been your toughest obstacle in doing your job?
You know what the very toughest thing is making people understand how great we can be. You know, we're the second largest city in the state of Georgia. We're the 110th largest city in the United States of America. And that's saying something when you know we have 17,000 cities in the United States. So Columbus is really a very big city. And sometimes people forget how great we are and how great we can be. So it's our goal to be the best mid-sized city in the United States. And sometimes it's hard to convince people that we're on the upward trail to being a super city. Sometimes people want to think a little small, or maybe they're scared of moving forward and they're scared of the progress. But it's important for you all and your classmates and your generation that we keep moving forward to make this a great city. So that's the toughest part, is making people believe that we can be a great city.
Question number 4. Can you share some of your newest projects for this great city?
Right. Well, a couple of things. We're working very hard, as I said, with the redevelopment districts. So we've got some bike lanes we're going to be putting in all over the city, about 5 miles worth of bike lanes on Victory Drive, connecting our new Rails to Trails, which will be on the South Lumpkin Road, Rails to Trails, connecting Oxbow Meadows with the Naval Museum in downtown and the Riverwalk. And those will be protected bike lanes, so you don't have to worry about the cars zooming by. We want to do more and more bike lanes because we think it's important that people, no matter where you live, are able to get around on a bike and that you don't have to have a car. We also think it's important that young people like yourself can bike to school safely. And so we have to do some things to make sure that our roads can be used by young people as well as older people, and that you don't necessarily have a car. But that's really just the beginning. We've got to do things to bring more shops back into town, to bring more neighborhoods back into town. And so we're working on revitalization projects everywhere from Fort Benning Road, as I said, to Victory Drive, along the river and what we call City Village, which is just south of Bibb City. And we've got a lot of stuff going on. So those are some very exciting projects. And we also are looking into maybe getting high-speed rail from our airport to the Atlanta airport, which would make us the second statewide airport in Georgia.
Question number 5. Are there any aspirations in seeking a state office position?
Not at this time. I think you can only do one thing well at a time, one job well. And so it's sort of like if you play a little baseball, you need to keep your eye on the ball, right? You take your eye off the ball and start looking at something else, what's going to happen? You're going to strike out, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to keep my eye on the ball of being mayor of Columbus, Georgia.
Madam Mayor, thank you for this time. It has truly been a pleasure.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you having me here.
Thank you. After this, we will return with another scholar.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and today we have Pastor Lowell
Client.
Clyde. How are you today, Lowell?
I'm doing fine, Ryan. How are you doing?
Good. Okay, question one. What did you do before you became a pastor?
Well, let's start back when I graduated from high school at Carver in '73 and went to Columbus University. Majored in art for 2 years and changed over, majored in business for the next 2 years, and then took a year of banking and finance, and from there went to work in retail and did some time in the banking industry, and then on the church side, I began to grow spiritually and became a steward, then a deacon, and God called me into ministry.
Question two. Are you married? Do you have any children?
I am. I'm married to Marie Jackson Client. We've been married 34 years this past August, and I have 2 children. My eldest is my daughter, Brandy Christina Client, and my son is Lowell Jason, and he's in Orlando, Florida right now, and they're doing very good. Both have wonderful careers and been very successful at what they're doing.
Question three. What else do you do other than being a pastor?
Well, other than being the pastor of Caesar Faith Baptist Church, I'm also the president and CEO of Tree of Life Healthcare.
What is Tree of Life Healthcare?
Tree of Life Healthcare is a primary healthcare clinic. It's a nonprofit free healthcare clinic for those who don't have health insurance or underinsured, and are those who don't have the funds to pay for the initial doctor visit. We also deal with eye care as well, and we're looking to open the first part of next year. Be serving and working with several universities so they can nurse practitioners and physician assistants can get their clinical hours in and be able to reach and take care of people again that don't have health insurance but need quality health care in the Valley area. So we're really excited about that. Looking forward to the grand opening. We just saw the mayor earlier on the first spot, and looking to have her there at the grand opening. And the Assistant Surgeon General, Admiral Clara Cobbs, will be here as our keynote speaker. So we're looking to have a great time.
Well, thanks for all your time.
Thank you, Ryan, for having me. I really enjoyed your questions, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Next, we will have another scholar.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Unity with Pam. I am here interviewing the 137th representative of Georgia, Debbie Buckner. How you doing, Debbie?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, Debbie, I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Be glad to answer them.
Question 1. What do you do?
Well, as a state representative, I go to Atlanta and we pass laws and the budget, which is the most important law that we pass, so that the schools like Wesley Heights have money to be able to pay their teachers and buy books and all kinds of curriculum and make sure you have lights that come on in the school. We help out that way. We also pass laws for public health and safety and pass laws that have to do with trying to help bring in new industry. And one of the biggest, newest industries we have in Georgia is the film industry. They're making lots of really big films in Georgia because of some of the work that state government's been doing.
Okay. Well, here's a follow-up question. What is a state representative?
A state representative is an elected official, so every 2 years I run and people vote for me, and when I am elected I go on the second Monday in January and I'm sworn in and I serve for 2 years, and then at the end of that 2 years I have to run again and go through that whole process over again. While we are in Atlanta those 2 years working, we work on committees. We have committees about economic development, we have committees about health, about the environment, about taking care of our prisons. We have education committees, and we work in those committees to make sure that we investigate and make sure things are running right. Then we pass laws to fix anything that needs fixing.
Okay. When and where were you born?
Well, I was born a long time ago, and I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but I moved here when I was just not quite 2 years old, so all I remember is living right here in Columbus, Georgia.
You look
I
like
went
you
to
were
school here, and I've always loved my home city of Atlanta.
You look like you were taught here. What is one of your hobbies?
Oh, I have several hobbies. One of my most favorite, and I love being here in the library, is I like to read books. I say that Kindles and Nooks are okay, but I still like books the best.
Okay. What is your goal?
My goal is to be the very best wife and mother that I can be, because I have children that are grown now, but I still love them, take care of them, and advise them. And I have a husband to take care of. But I also want to be a very good state representative. And to do that, I have to meet with the people in the district. I have to listen to their needs and concerns. And I have to work together with them. And then when I go to Atlanta, I have to work together with the people up there so that we can come up with great solutions to make sure that we can do what's best for our community.
Okay, Debbie, that was nice interviewing you. We'll be back in Unity with Pam with another scholar interviewing another person.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Pomaxai. I am interviewing Linda Pierce. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jasmine. It's great to be here.
Who was your inspiration as a little kid?
I had a lot of inspirations as I was growing up. Probably first my parents. I was the oldest of 6 children, and we were always very secure and knew that we had a family unit, which was very important, and they encouraged me a lot. My teachers, especially my first grade teacher that I will never forget, she taught me a lot at the beginning, not only about a great interest in learning, but also learning to know when to talk. I was a big talker, so I learned that basically to listen as well as to talk.
What is iCivics?
iCivics. iCivics is a project that's within the state of Georgia now, but it's all over the country. And it's a very important project. Civics is about learning about how our government works and democracy and why it's important to vote. And what it began with our retired Supreme Court Justice, Sandra Day O'Connor, who, when she retired, found out that we were not really teaching a lot about how our government works much in our school systems anymore. And it's very important for our young people to understand why it's important to vote and to understand how the government works. And understand the difference between, for instance, a democracy and other forms of government where you don't have the freedom that you've got here to be able to choose how you want to live and what kind of jobs you have, what kind of future you would like to have. And so what she did was develop an online curriculum and games for students all over the country that you can play different games and be able to participate and, for instance, be able to learn what it's like to actually make decisions as a judge, or learn how it is to make decisions as the president, or a senator, or any of a lot of other people within our government. And in our county, in Muskogee County, we're one of the very first counties in the state of Georgia to start using civics in our high school curriculum. So that's very exciting for us.
Thank you for letting us have you here.
Okay, it's great to be here.
Now we'll
Thank
be
you.
back with another scholar.
Good morning. This is Unity with Pam, and I'm here with Pam herself.
Well, Aura, thank you for interviewing me on my own show.
My first question is, what inspired you to have your own TV show?
Aura, I was much like you. I was young, a pastor's daughter. I'm a talker. I got a big mouth. I love to talk. And so I love to ask questions, and I wanted to help my father in ministry. And because I wanted to help the church so much, I was on someone else's show. And one thing led to another, and here I am.
My next question is, did you like TV as a child?
What child didn't like TV? I love the Cosby Show, you know, Hee Haw, even though I'm a sister, I like the Hee Haw. I mean, I love TV, good family TV.
I like the Cosby Show.
Oh, girl, yeah.
How has TV changed your point of view in life?
You know, TV has changed my point of view a lot. Some of the things that come on TV I don't feel are appropriate for your age. So one thing by coming on TV, I like to have things that are wholesome, that will mentor kids as well as myself, things that show children doing good things, adults doing good things. And of course, I like small business. I love doing things to promote the small business.
How long do you think your TV show will last?
Or believe it or not, February we will be on TV 10 years. And I'd have never thought in a million years I'd be doing TV 10 years. Nor would I have a child show, children taking my show. So yes, it's a blessing.
And my last question is, what did you first think when your show was created?
I was overwhelmed, like today. It's a recreation. I mean, wow. To see it 10 years and to see the expansions of it and to see someone like you, because I'm getting old, going to eventually have to take over my show so it continues, is well worth going through. I love it.
Well, thank you for the time.
Thank you for doing my show.
Welcome back with Unity and Pam. With Pam, I am Azazel Dunlap bringing you an interview with Mrs. Ames. Good afternoon, Mrs. Ames. How are you been doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
What are you?
I am a member of the Chattahoochee Valley Writers Association, and every year the association puts on a conference for people who like to write and who like to write poetry and a variety of other types of subjects. And it's been an annual event for almost 7 years.
Wow, it sounds like you got quite a business going.
Well, it's a nonprofit organization.
Were you inspired by this when you were a kid writing?
I was not inspired by this. I mean, I was inspired as a child to write because I liked reading books. And when I would read, it would inspire me to also want to maybe do my own writing.
When did you start?
The conference organization started about 2007. It was formed by a group of people who had a desire to see people in the community have a place that they could go to. We wanted to make a name for Columbus as a focus point for the creative arts community. And so we decided we would create this writers' conference for people to come to and how to get ideas and tips on how to write better. And we cover a whole variety of subjects: short stories, novels, poetry, essays, editing, and things like that. So we have a lot of fun with it.
Why do you do this and not something else?
This is just one part of my life, and this is something that we decided, like I said, as early as around 2007, to form this for the community, to create a place where people can come together and enjoy the art of writing.
Who puts it on?
It's put on by we have a committee of several people. Elaine Johnson is our president. Barbara Leip is our vice president. Joanne Middlebrooks, our secretary. I'm the treasurer and the website master. We have others who work with us: Jim Cummings, Ron Self, Scott Wilkerson, Courtney George, who's with the Carson McCullers Center. And there are others who help out too. It's strictly a voluntary organization.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's all we have time for. We'll be back with another scholar after this commercial break.
Hey, welcome to Unity Pam. My name is Damian Cobb, and I am interviewing Dr. Wang Kong from Zoe Pediatrics.
Thank you.
So I want to start off with a very basic question. What is Zoe Pediatrics?
Well, perhaps you wanted to find out what is pediatrics, because not everyone knows that it's not like adult medicine. It's medical care for children between 0 and 19. And the philosophy is that children should not be treated the same way as adults. You wouldn't expect to have the same dose of medicine prescribed for adults as well as children.
Okay, I would like to ask, what does the word Zoe mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Zoe is a Greek word, and it means gift from God. And so, obviously, children are gifts from God, and as well as the opportunity to serve children is a gift from God. So we believe that very strongly, and we certainly have been blessed with this practice.
Well, how long has Zoe Pediatrics been in business?
Well, we've been in business for about 3 years, and we moved to Columbus last April, so we're coming up on a year. And but we also have practices in Thomaston and Barnesville.
How's pediatrics going for you?
Well, we've been well received in Columbus, and we're seeing about 50 children per day, and so I hope we're a blessing to the community, and that children are receiving the best care that they are entitled to.
What can kids do to stay healthy and be strong?
Well, what a wonderful question. In the old days, Damien, especially with pediatrics, you would wait for kids to get sick and then you would bring them in. But all that has changed. We now emphasize prevention. We would rather keep kids healthy and strong rather than curing them after they get sick. You've heard of that nursery rhyme, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put him back together again. Obviously, if you think of Humpty Dumpty as an egg, preventing him from falling in the first place would certainly be much better than trying to put an egg back together again. So the philosophy now is to make sure that children stay healthy. And the fact is that there are just some basic things that people can do to keep kids healthy. And number one actually is going to church. Children who go to church are much healthier than the ones who are not going to church. And then exercise and nutrition are two of the basic things that everyone should do. I really believe that children are only happy when they're active, when they're jumping and prancing and playing and wrestling together. And so that should be more of what kids do rather than sit around watching TV and playing computer games. But most important, they need, when babies are born, they need doting parents and doting friends and relatives. Well, you also need a doting pediatrician, and that's what you get at Zoe Pediatrics. So if you, your viewers would like to call Zoe Pediatrics for an appointment, The number is 706-992-6940, and we're located at 959 17th Street in Columbus.
Well, that's all the time we have today, and we'll be back with Unity with Pam.
Hello, we are back with Pam, with Unity with Pam. I'm here with Cedric.
Yes.
Cedric Daniels.
Yes.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Very good.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, like as far as education.
Well, I have a bachelor's and master's degree in business management. And I guess you could say a serial entrepreneur. I've been involved in several businesses, and now I'm a hotel manager.
Okay. Do you enjoy doing what you're doing?
Actually, I do. It's a pretty interesting industry. You meet a lot of different people from actually all over the world.
Cute. What do you do outside your job?
Well, one of my hobbies is computers. I do a little yard work, landscape work, little graphic design.
Will you ever put aside what you do to do something else?
Never say never. Anything is possible.
Okay. Have you ever worked in another business?
Actually, I've been an insurance agent. Prior to the insurance business, I was a project coordinator at Total Systems.
Very interesting. Do you help people outside your job?
Yeah, being at computers is one of my hobbies. Anytime somebody, especially friends, they always call me for help with their computers. So I'm their first level of tech support. And then, of course, anytime I have an employee that has a problem, they always come to me.
Okay. Do you enjoy helping people outside your community?
Yeah, I do. It's always nice, especially around this time of the year, to really help people. One of the things our church does is Turkey Tuesday, which is coming up the Tuesday before Christmas, where we give out turkeys.
Would you tutor us kids to like work on technology, to actually get to know like things educational but within technology?
I would be more than happy to. It's important to know computers and different operating systems and the different software packages that are out here now. It's definitely a good thing to know and understand.
Okay. Well, that was Unity with Pam. We will be back with another scholar and another person.
Hello, my name is Brooklyn Johns, and today on Unity with Pam, I will be interviewing Pastor Will A. Willis. He is the pastor of Move of God Ministries, located at 4308 Miller Road in Columbus, Georgia. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, Brooklyn. Doing fine. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Now, what inspired you to become a pastor?
Brooklyn, what inspired me to become a pastor, that I had a assurance, an inspiration from God to start to ministering. And by that, that's where it got to start at.
How old were you when you became a pastor?
How old I was when I became a pastor? I was 40 years old.
Did you have to go to college or take classes?
Not necessarily so, Brooklyn, because of the call of God, that gives you a foundation for pastoring. But you further your education with schooling to do a better job, but God put you in that position. So he prepared you for the job. And he also prepared you for the love for the people, that they will become Christians and have a better life.
Can you explain to us how you did get your training?
Well, how I got my training as a pastor, as I said at first, God called me, and when you use the word calling, that is when God really put that burning desire in your spirit, in your heart, to do that job. And yet you will do some training under your pastor. And that after that training under your pastor, you get the experience you need. Plus you go to schooling and it helps out. But the call of God, it comes with the power to do the job of pastoring.
What advice do you have for someone who is interested in becoming a pastor?
Well, Brooklyn, the one thing that we all understand with pastors, that they would understand that we have a relationship with God. And then we must understand that we must realize that we call a God, that God have called you into this position, because this job requires a lot of sacrifice. And what I meant that it calls for a lot of sacrificing of your time in prayer, study, and you're going to have to endure a lot of things that a normal person would never have to endure.
Okay. Well, we'd like for you to be on our show, and we thank you for coming.
Thank you, Brooklyn.
See us next time on Unity with Pam.